Welcome, everyone. Welcome to All In, All United. Your boys Reem and Nico on the inside. And tonight we have Davion on the inside. Which we know all going know Davion from the comments. Davion always getting we talks from on the comment side. But we're glad to have him on the inside now. It's been a while since he promised to be here, and we finally got him on. So
Yes, good
Davion,
night, everyone. Good night, good night, good night.
tell me something about yourself now, man.
Well, South, well, originally Northbourne, Lavantel to be exact, and now South residing. And yeah, and been a Man U fan since primary school. So, and I since how long? But, but yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nice
Never
one.
die, never give up on the club. I was a Man U fan.
Nice.
As I say, once I read enough.
Yeah,
True,
yeah.
true.
True that. True that. So
Everybody just go all around and come back.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right,
Really,
fellas.
we didn't call it no names there, but we go laugh for the Blues.
So, fellas, today, we know we needed a reaction after the Sheffield United loss on Wednesday. And I mean, when you saw how the game started, you felt that we were going to get something out of the game. But again, not being clinical in front of goal, not taking chances when we dominating the football, and then giving up momentum for key moments in the game. We sit down here and we ruin the misses, the close shaves, and we here now with 1 point from six, right? It's not ideal, especially when you want to consider yourself in a title charge, but at the same time, we are want to panic, So let me get into the game. Let me see if we can dissect exactly what went wrong today, fellas. I mean, we know it's personal opinions, but fellas, when I saw the team sheet, talk to me, Davion.
Well, I had no problems with the team sheet. I had a problem with Martial from the last game, so I had a problem with Martial from the last game. So he being omitted was I don't know if Oli felt the pressure of the last game, if he saw the comments that been made, and or if he looked back at the game and saw the times where Martial was not pressing, he was just walking about the pitch, his energy wasn't up and he wasn't closing down. I don't know if he looked back and saw that and choose it as a reason to make him sit out, but it was the correct move, at least I would say. And for some reason though, when Martial came on, the football got a little quicker. No? We started to that's in the last 10 minutes of the first half. It started to get better. It was quicker.
True.
Spaces started
I
to
agree
open
with
up. Spaces started to open up.
that. I agree
That's
with
when they say McTominay wanted to take a number two.
that.
Nico, hey Jody,
Yeah,
hey Jody, bless
yeah.
my fan. Thanks for joining.
It is a lineup. To me, it was more or less well, what can I expected? I know from the last game when I watched the Sheffield game, he was resting Cavani for today, and now you only bring on Cavani late in the Sheffield game, so you know that, and yes, you see that he kind of rotating the Cavani and Marshall at times. So when I saw Cavani sat out the Sheffield game, I knew he was starting today. So that wasn't a surprise. This was looking at where Pogba would have placed. I was thinking about where Pogba would have fit in. Pogba played on the left, which again I say, well, if I had to guess a position, Pogba would have played against the left. I know against Liverpool he played on the right, but I think the left side more suit him. And I think even today, even for the first half hour, he was anonymous. He wasn't into the game as much. He kind of grew into the game as the game went on. And maybe, as Davion said, when Marshall came on and Pogba went back in the more deeper role. Yes, so where Pogba started to get more into the game. So the team sheet for me was more or less as expected, and a lot of even the I know we not the first half yet, but a lot of the first half felt like the game we played against Liverpool in the FA Cup. where we had a lot of control and it was feeling like the goal would have come at some point. Because Arsenal really sat back today and they soak up the pressure. You know, knowing that their squad also was depleted with some of their quality players wasn't within the team today. You know, so they kind of relied on the counter. They looked so comfortable on the counter at times. But we more or less managed especially for the first half, and I think it was unfortunate really not to go ahead. Go ahead.
I agree with Tolia. You know, it wasn't any surprise. You know, and even if for me, for Martial to have started today, he had to have a masterclass display against Sheffield United, and that would have given Oli a real headache. But I knew and I figured that the team, regardless of his performance against Sheffield, the team for this game was already set a week ago. We knew exactly who was going to play. You know, and the fact that, as you said, Nico Cavani was rested against Sheffield, we know it was in preparation and to get him ready for today. You know, so I wasn't surprised at all when I saw the team sheet. In no way. I was happy to see Luke Shaw come back in. I was happy to see Cavani come back in, knowing what we get when we have him on the field. You know, and as you say, in the first half, we saw where we dominated the football. There's just that lack of quality, that lack of end product now. You know, that really kept Arsenal in the game for the duration of the game.
I think one of the most disappointing things in the game today, though, was the starting of the second half. We allowed Arsenal to control the game. We was sitting back. We were sitting back and only have the ball attack us and waiting for something to happen.
Yeah.
I was expecting a reaction. I expected, okay, we end the first half so well after Martial came on and Pogba started to dominate the pitch, the middle of the pitch, and he started to get more into the game and okay, I'm looking forward to the second half.
Yeah.
Thinking we'll control, we'll start off faster. Oli will talk to them and say, okay, we start to control the game, but we could do better in the second half. Could get a goal and go in front, but that didn't happen. That was disappointing.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna get some comments here, right? So Jody's saying finishing needs to be clinical. Yeah, boy. Wow, the chances were there for the taking, and we just didn't. And I don't know. Sinatra, welcome, man. Thanks for joining me. Saying, let's hope City and Jock with no points. Not how they're going.
Yeah, but City has some tough games coming up. Well, I guess tough game on paper, you know, and especially with De Bruyne out, and even today they kind of struggle to create chances, with clear chances. So maybe something might happen.
Yeah, and he is saying that they have Liverpool, Tottenham, and Arsenal back to back. Tough games. Well, true. But you know the way how it's looking like City now starting to peak now. So the way how they're going, you know, I mean, they will fancy them to get the points. You know, he said that Sheffield game was real heartbreaking. That's the cost of the title. Come on now, man. Sheffield facing relegation, and we couldn't even get a point.
That's true.
Sometimes it'll just go like that, but you know.
That happened in the Sheffield game. I recall the commentators saying that happened with Sir Alex Ferguson already. We were at the top of the table, and I can't remember the team. It was Bolton or some team, and they came and upset us. They were bottom of the table.
Yeah. So it's nothing really strange or uncommon to the sport, you know.
When teams come to play United, especially at Old Trafford, they just go in legendary mode, especially the keeper. Legendary mode.
It's true. But more than today, the Aston Villa game, when Aston Villa lost that game was a heartbreaker compared to the Sheffield game. You know, I think that Aston Villa game, with the offside, yeah, I think that one was a heartbreaker.
All right. So fellas, let me get into the game. Let me talk about some moments in the game, you know, that you want to point out, and let me get into it. And fellas, keep the comments coming. You know, we appreciate it, and we'll touch on it when it do come true. You know, so tell me, Nico, your thoughts on the first half.
totally first half for me was I find Rashford decision making. Let him down today. I think that he had some chances maybe to pass or even to shoot. It had a chance where the ball came to him. To me, it was a difficult decision. I know you were saying that was a sitter. But for me, it was a difficult decision that Rashford would have gotten to put aside here. Don't mind in the still shot, it looked like he was one-on-one with the keeper at one point. You know, but other than that, I think decision making wise, I think Rashford's decision making was a bit more clinical. I think even the finishing would have been more easier. Because Jody would have spoke about finishing it to be more clinical, but also the decision making before the finish has to be more clinical for we to get that end result. It was unfortunate when Bruno went through on goal and he had a nice chance to score. I can't remember who was. I think it was Luis. Luis ended up leaving him. You know, almost one-on-one. And in let me say, when Bruno was in form, Bruno was curling at the back of the net with ease because it was more or less he had that time and that space more or less to finish. So I think today, yes, the finishing was off, but the decision making also was off. I think we ended up being fit with 2 points.
But before I move on to Davy and Nico, because I was always trying to get a feel of the opinions, the different opinions on the game. And a lot of people were saying that they felt that the fact that Rashford moved over to the right affecting, you know, his game and his output. I don't know what the fellas think about that.
I think so. Honestly, I find he looks more natural on the left side compared to the right. Maybe because he has been playing a lot of games on the left and then is a kind of switch to the right this season, more or less. You know, over the last few games with Cavani coming into the team and they want him to fit Cavani, Martial, and Rashford in the team. You know, so I think that has been affecting his game. It has affected him in terms of his decision making. I don't think that might affect his decision making that much, but I think it could definitely throw you off in terms of maybe positioning. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it will throw you off in some way. You know, you might feel uncomfortable using your right foot on your left. You know, but that has some differences. So I think definitely it throw him off a bit. What do you think?
Yeah, it affect him. It have been affecting him, but I would think that in training, sometimes he will be playing on the right. So, and he playing on the right long enough that I feel he could adapt.
Yeah.
But
what and Nico, I think you touched on it. You know, and while I agree with that, my only counter to it is it shouldn't be the decision that you're not making properly is not really decision to say, well, if he was on the left, you'd make a better decision than that. You know, because we know one of Rashford challenges is his decision making. So for me to say his decision making being affected because he playing on the right instead of the left, I think that is making an excuse that is that we know was existing even when he was playing on the left. You know, but I do agree that you're seeing where he's struggling a little bit in his where he's not able to play to his strengths or to what he likes to do. You know, it will throw him off, but Davian make a good point as well. If I training, you know, on the right, obviously if all you know you're going to play him on the right to accommodate other players, and he not only accommodating Martial, because when Martial not playing, Pogba playing there. You know, so it's not only Martial he accommodating. So when you train him in preparation to play in a position, all you would have seen training and say, well, you know what, here we're going on, not really not working, you know, let me find a next solution. So for me in training, all you would clearly see that it's working. I think the issue is really decision making more than anything else. You know, and one of the things that I saw one of the analysts mentioned today is that Pogba played on the right against Liverpool to deal with what's his name, Robertson.
Robertson.
Right. Today, Oli played Rashford on the right because the weakest defender on the Arsenal backline was that guy,
Cedric.
Cedric.
Uh-huh.
Because it had a point in the game where Oli shouted out to Rashford, run at this fella, he not good. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think it had a tactical reasoning behind playing
Okay.
Rashford right today. Because after Oli said that you saw Rashford was actually trying to go at Cedric today. You know? So let me get some comments before we move on. Jody is saying my 12-year-old daughter say Rashford need a 2-game break.
Yes. Possibly. But some players, especially like Rashford, after a rest, he just come back with set. That's something that's how you play now.
Yeah. So not just saying every player has a bad day, and yes, Rashford on the left is a good choice. Cutting back and shooting is his strength. Yeah. Hey Nicholas Ramdas, thanks for joining, man. He's saying stress, fellas, stress. So Nacho also saying Marcel as well can do the same on the left, cut back and shoot. We need to play them in their right positions. True. Davian, talk to me about the first half now. Your thoughts?
I honestly thought it's a good thing that Arsenal front line not that good. Because on pace, they had Maguire uncomfortable. Every time they play that ball on top over Maguire back on shoulder. Anytime they play that ball, Maguire panicking. On 3 different occasions also, he panicked. Take down the player. Foul. But you're panicking, but you're close to the man. You're reaching close to the man. You ain't getting him time. You ain't getting yourself time and space to at least a head start so you could track if he get the spin on you. You're hugging him up, but you cannot. You have no speed. Maguire dead slow. We know that.
You're not dead slow, eh? But you're afraid of pace. So you have a player with, every time you're up against a player with pace, you just panic.
Yeah. And is Lacazette?
Yeah.
It's a good thing that them finishing not good. Because Maguire was struggling.
Yeah.
He was panicking.
He was panicking.
But earlier, how to play it, boy? We know Maguire, the struggle with pace, right? With pacey attackers. But Maguire's a very he clever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he clever. He know how to use whatever he just do. Because if you already check it,
he made a block today, though.
Yeah, no,
and that
was a real good block. Eh? But what I'm saying is how he just do. If you really check it, right? More times than not, when they have a pacey forward, they don't really get chances to go at Maguire as we just normally kind of expect, you know. And for some reason, the man doesn't know how to whether it's because the team tactically got set up to kind of protect him, but he doesn't just know how to deal with these kind of players because
I just feel luck.
Yeah, whether it's luck, whether it's tactics, whether it's game intelligence. Watch me, out of all the quick players in the Premier League, it's only about 3 or 4 really beat Maguire and score, you know. And one of those, I going back to last season to pull on Bergwijn. Yeah, but how much quick forwards Maguire play against some them fellas and them rarely get it better him. Yeah,
I think the tactic at Teta he front man today was trying to get the spin on Maguire.
Yes, saw that. You saw that.
That was a clear tactic. Yeah. High ball over his shoulder.
But what I was seeing was I find us bypassing our midfield real easy. I find a lot of times that we was seeing them.
Where's the guy name?
Who's that? From Arsenal?
Mm-hmm.
Martinelli? Martinelli.
No, not him. A youth man who don't start who you
Smith Rowe. Yeah.
He had for a youth man, he had a beast of a game.
Yeah, and that's the thing because he was kind of playing behind our midfielders, and for some reason when he got the ball in a lot of space.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so for me, I found us bypassing our midfield so easy, and there was always onto our back 4 or back 3, however it was, in the split of a second. And I was like, how are you getting through our team so easy? You know, when we struggling to bring them down, and yes, we know they play on the counter, but every time they attack, it was feeling like something could happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let me just go back a little bit in the game, because I thought at the start of the game, and I think we all agree on that, we were the better team. Arsenal tried to press us when we were bringing the ball from the back, and I thought every time they press, we came out of the press real decent.
And we were pressing too.
Yeah, and I had a credit, and I'm talking about when we were building from the back and coming through their press. I really had to credit McTominay because I thought he did really well.
Yeah, I agree.
When Arsenal started to grow in the game, that's when McTominay started to get spin and turn up and all kind of thing, right? And I really had to end the game. But before that happened, we were breaking through Arsenal's press with ease, I find. Right? McTominay and Fred were doing a very good job in terms of recovering the ball. Pogba was coming into the spaces nice, even though Pogba out on the wide left. Sometimes he was kind of out of the game, you know. But because we are a team that we take so long with the ball in our half, when the ball do reach up in the attacking third, that is when Pogba will get involved, and that wasn't happening much now. And then we were kind of heavy on the right-hand side because Bruno, Rashford, Bissaka was getting most of the football in the earlier part of the game when we was actually seeing some nice plays from United, right? But I just want to go back on this thing. I thought that McTominay and Fred were doing very good in terms of beating Arsenal's press. You know, we were seeing some nice movement with the ball and getting out. And I thought when McTominay came off, that we saw we lose a little bit of shape in the midfield, right? Even though, as Davian noted, we would create a better outlet going forward. I thought that we lost a little bit of shape and discipline.
Because we lost that extra midfielder, of course.
You know?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to go back and point out that because I saw it happen today and I wanted to recognize how well McTominay and Fred were doing in terms of...
Fred was a beast, that Benny.
I find it's too much of a bad pass on Fred. What is Fred pass accuracy? I'd be less than 50% then.
Yeah,
because
somehow you guys make up play pretty tracking back and tackling. Somehow.
No, but here, and I was messaging and I telling Nico this during the game. Fred is a man, like, you know, like when a man is a real groupie. Fred is a real groupie of Bruno, you know. Because here, Fred will see Bruno with about 18 men around him. And he will still pass the ball to Bruno, you know. And I can understand that sometimes. They have better passes, but Fred so wants to give Bruno the ball. Especially when Bruno already going through a time when he at his best now. You know? Don't put him under pressure.
Take it early in training saying, give it to Bruno now.
Most likely that will go down. But before we move on, again, I want to commend McTominay today. I think in terms of technical ability of a midfielder, I saw a lot of technical ability from McTominay when he was on the field today, on the ball. You know, he didn't panic. He created space with simple body fakes and decent passes. You know, you saw a bit of intelligence from him today, and I definitely want to commend McTominay on his performance when he was on the field today.
Yeah. For the how much? 23 minutes, 25 minutes before he had to go.
I think he did. I think he make half an hour.
But half an hour.
All right. And we still yet to get confirmation as to why he had to come off.
Yeah.
Ramdas saying, imagine these are the excuses we're making for an 80 million defender in Manchester United. He afraid of pace. He afraid of pace, but I did say, Ramdas, that I find he actually holding the end. You know, he's very clever, you know, very
Davian said he panicked today with Lacazette. He panicked when he had time to defend it, but we never know. We never know. Maybe that was the right decision. But to me, it looked like he panicked too. But he doesn't manage.
Well, at least he never make Lacazette pass.
No, but what are talking about the one when he fouled him and he get the card?
Yeah.
He had to do that, Nico.
You find so?
He had to do that.
Nah. The ball was going wide.
The ball was going wide though. The ball was going wide.
Yeah.
No.
If he compose himself a bit, you not get a ball.
No, I don't think so. I don't think
all
so.
Maguire had to do was stay close to him, not too close, to initiate no contact, just usher him, let him keep going wide. Because the ball was already going wide.
No. Earlier, I don't know if we're talking about the same play, but if I don't want,
I find it was a bit crash.
no, he had to take that yellow card, Nico. Because here, if we're talking about the same one, here I see, right? That ball was a long ball that play over to Lacazette, right? Lacazette, that was an exquisite touch to kill that ball, right? Under pressure, you wasn't expecting Lacazette to kill that, right? Lacazette compose himself and knock it past.
I feel like the
Was
referee
a heavy touch.
Was a heavy touch. Yeah, was a heavy touch. Maybe had a fair play. Maybe mixed up that play.
Let me tell you what happened there, right? If Maguire had let Lacazette follow that touch, right? That is when it could have been a foot race. You don't want that, right? And then remember that ball came over. Maguire already get pulled out of position. All Lacazette had to do was a foot race with Maguire, play that ball through the center, and you don't know what could have happened.
I feel it's the wrong play you're talking about. But anyway, I feel it's the wrong play.
I commend Maguire for as a professional foul. I take in that yellow card.
I find he could have you had to do it. But anyway, let me move on.
Yeah.
Let me check it back.
Let me get some comments, right? Ramdas saying we're scraping to keep top 4. This is what is stressing me, making the same mistakes every single game. Only the players, the club, and signing stress. I feel you, bro. I feel you.
I don't think we will see any signings.
Nah, but Jody also said we're not scraping. We're going through a down period just like other teams. That is also a good point. Right? That's saying exactly pass the ball to Bruno, pass the ball to Pogba, as opposed to actually build up play and tactics. The rest of the football world has found us out. Good point. So yeah, so as I was saying, fellas, I thought for the first half an hour when McTominay was on the field, we were seeing some nice little football. And I thought at that point, we should have been at least 2-0 up. Right? Yeah. 2-0 up. Because watchmen, that chance Rashford gets. I know you say, and to an extent I agree with you, because sometimes we see it here, but them things happen fast on the field. But
that ball comes through players too.
Right, but my thing is, remember, you training for that. So your preparedness psychologically and mentally, physically supposed to be prime, right? So
it's not robots, sir.
I'm saying it's not robots, but
it's not robots, sir.
The more you train for situations, the more you will be prepared for it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you're disagreeing with that, buddy?
Yes. Where have you on?
What it was about Martial today?
Of course, we haven't said yet.
No, he didn't. Mind you, he didn't impact the game all that much, but you could see someone talk to him about the closing down, because he ran a lot. He was closing down a lot.
I think he was a lot more disciplined.
He was different today. He
was different. He was different. And that is what I want to see. I can't even complain about Martial today. Because he at least, even though we know he's struggling for form, at least do something.
Yeah.
Make yourself counted. Do some tracking back, do some closing down. And that's why I saw, and I can't complain.
Yeah. I think when he came on, you saw a lot more quality in the forward tail also at the field.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think he came on and did well. Definitely.
Luke Shaw for player of the Mondo.
Here I got to bring up that. As I assume Luke Shaw. Jody saying on Rashford's second touch, he's supposed to bury that chance. But Nico think the only way he's supposed to bury that, Jody, as far as Nico said, is if he's a robot. Human being supposed to make that.
He's a human. He's a human. That's my point. He is not perfect. So you would make mistakes, things would happen. You touch might be perfect to get the shot off. When I take that shot, men come and flying left, right, and center. You know, it just happen.
he second think the shot. And
I
that
just
brief
No,
that
but for me, that's
brief
a shot
moment,
that I take one time. Yeah, yeah,
that
but
brief
he can't
moment,
touch it.
he couldn't
That-
take that one time.
that brief moment he
Couldn't take that
hesitated,
one time.
the chance was gone. That brief moment he hesitated, the chance was gone. He hesitated and is
He
happy with players.
hesitated, and they were telling him he hesitated. He wasn't supposed to
Yes, but
hesitate,
still.
Nico.
How much time you see that happen?
He
When?
wished he had that
Yes,
chance again.
But you
Rashford
just
wished he
always
had
see
that
that.
chance again.
You just always see that where, because the ball came to about 4 or 5 legs before he reached Rashford, and sometimes that was catch him by surprise. Yes, we
Nico,
say
he
it.
controlled
Yes, we
the
say
ball.
we got
He
training
had
for
it.
that.
Nico, Rashford had time to control that ball. Look up. Chop.
He wished
Chop
he wished
back.
he had that chance again.
No, because he had to
Yes,
chop.
yes.
Because men was flying
He
left,
was
right, and
supposed
center.
to, no. He was supposed to blast that first time, Nico. One time.
First time, but that is second touch. Second touch should be a blast. But if you watch when he control the ball kind of stick under his foot. He couldn't shoot that there. He couldn't shoot that there. He had to take another touch. As much as we like it to be a shot, it just didn't land perfect. The ball didn't land perfect for the shoot.
It's all right. Well, I mean, the thing about these kind of chances is when they score it, we just say, good goal. And when they score it, we just say, well, there's human beings.
Yeah.
Jody saying as for Martial, anytime he get bench and he come on, he does perform. Well, I think what we realizing is that the team need competition, and competition is supposed to make you better. If competition ain't making you better, then you're in the wrong place. Ramdas saying Rashford needs some heavy. But fellas, here, Nico, you know well what I'm going to say about Luke Shaw here.
Yeah.
And it is ring my brain. Why it is Luke Shaw always have to usher the ball on a player lap. When he do that, he closing the space that the player who receiving the ball will have to do anything, and it's forcing the player now to have to look for a safer pass and go back. And I could never for the life of me understand why when Luke Shaw traveling with the ball, he will wait, and then he will walk up to you and give you the ball. And by the time he give you that ball, 3 defenders done surround you already, so the most you could do is turn back and give it to Maguire. Which makes you know that this Fred the living daylights out of me.
Yeah,
and why Luke Shaw?
A recurring team with Luke Shaw?
And why Luke Shaw probably doing good?
Yeah, but he crossed a lot more.
I still think he's not in levels. He's not in levels, man. He's not in levels.
Defensively, I find him very solid.
Yeah.
Defensively, very solid.
And you notice he on corners now.
But
he's always on corners now. But that's I think it was Bruno wanted to take it, and when Teller's on, he does take it. But even on free kicks, there's only be a free kicks also sometimes from deep.
But here's my thing with Shaw, right? We get so accustomed with Shaw not having any kind of attacking threat, right? That we actually seen him playing crosses in now. He actually overlapping. And well, wow, this man, wow, he's the best. And I still see the flaws in Shaw attacking play. Defensively, I agree with you. Solid. He's one of the best left backs in the country, right? In the league. But going forward, he's very frustrating to watch. I'm saying he poor, but and the strange thing today, Davian. I just come down real hard on Wan-Bissaka, me and Nico. But I find Wan-Bissaka was probably better than Luke Shaw today.
You find so?
I find so. Going forward after that.
Sorry, I don't disagree with that because I couldn't remember one good cross Wan-Bissaka playing,
What?
One or two?
Wan-Bissaka probably playing two quality crosses today, Nico.
Two, that's one or two.
Yeah.
What?
And what's Davian, that's more than we ever get from Wan-Bissaka in a game.
Yeah, but it'll be so hard watching them play on the front foot to that.
As you was now saying, we so accustomed to bad crosses. When we see two good crosses, we go, wow, out of this world.
Yeah. But that was he was better than Luke Shaw today. Going forward, that's it.
Right,
Defensively, yeah, defensively.
You see the header? You see the header?
A free header from but he has always that, you know. But
Yeah,
what I like about that is the position he has got himself in it. You know, all he has to have a little more belief that he had what I could score. You know, but he just didn't have that belief now. But he's in a really good position.
Nah, no, he was running in the box a lot today.
Yeah,
He was trying to go in the box a lot.
Let me just get some comments here, right? All right, so this one is for Nico. Jody said, Nico, if you took the shot, who knows, it might have deflected someone else or going. That is true. And that's all I'm saying. But sometimes Rashford, because if you go back on the game when we had played Brighton, I don't know if you remember that game. That was probably the second game of the season.
Right.
And Rashford had chopped 4 defenders and then shoot. And deflected and it went in the goal. So it's something that Rashford likes
He
to
did
do.
that against Crystal Palace too.
Yeah.
Crystal Palace last season, he did that.
Yeah.
His composure too, sometimes just composure, and that's a strong part of his game. But I agree with Jody here again. You cannot score unless you shoot at the goal. You know, I guess if he, let me say, if he did cut and he catch a defender skating and he get a clean goal, let's pass the ball in, definitely I look real good. But it didn't work out that way, so you know, tough luck.
Yeah. I'm not saying anybody remember when I said everyone that comes to United under Oli loses their edge. I want to know what they're doing in training. All right, bro. We don't understand this language, but thanks for the comments. All right,
Yeah,
and thanks for joining. Thanks for joining.
It's against some Asian countries, boy.
Yeah. How to be, right? Jody saying Tellers competition will only make sure attacking better. And
my only problem with Tellers is that he don't run at men enough. That is my only problem with Tellers.
But you find he defensively solid? Because I might problem with Tellers.
Neither. That's the next story.
Yeah.
I would say, especially if Shaw had played that Sheffield game, right? Especially for that second goal that we concede. I will not concede. We will not concede that second goal.
Thank you, Ramdas. I telling you, Wan-Bissaka had a good game. He had a good game. And
in defense or in attack, because he's always have a good defensive game.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 times. So we talk about in attack.
I just rarely praise Wan-Bissaka going forward. You know what I'm saying? So today I thought he had a very good game going forward. And I don't know if your fellas watched the pre-match interview from Oli. And he was saying in the pre-match, the instructions were to try their best to get the ball into the box, crosses for Cavani.
Yeah.
And you could have seen that that's what Shaw was trying to do and that's what Wan-Bissaka was doing. And I tell you, the what I saw from Wan-Bissaka, I was more pleased in terms of the attacking sense than what I saw from Shaw. In terms of laying off the ball, in a timely manner, making the better decision, passing wise, rather than Shaw holding onto the ball and hugging it and then waiting to get close down and then give a man under pressure. And that's something Shaw always doing going forward. Yeah. So second half, fellas, anything noteworthy?
I don't know why we came out so lethargic in the second half. You know, I think as Davian would have said, we ended the first half real strong. And for me, as I said before, it felt a bit like the Liverpool game, where the FA Cup Liverpool game, where we had so much control that the game was feeling so easy that it was feeling like the goal would have come at some point, and then boom, the second half started. And we couldn't come out of our area second half. Every time we get the ball, we give it back. And the scary part about the second half is the amount of free kicks that we gave away, the amount of corners that we gave away, and we know how fragile we are on set plays. So at some point I was just saying, why will you go win and score now? You know, because I know how fragile we are on set plays, and we're just giving away free kick on top of free kick, corners on top of corners, and I say, well, is just so this thing to score. I think the only reason why Arsenal weren't more threatening is because they wasn't putting the ball on the here. They wasn't making more in-swinging corners. They were just making more out-swinging corners and in-swinging. I think if they made more in-swing corners and put the hair under pressure, I think they'd have gotten some luck.
Yeah. Davian?
Yeah, today feel like we was in a parallel universe in the beginning of the first half, because usually we just start the first half slow, and the second half we just started fast. Today we start the first half fast and we begin the second half slow.
But all I feel, right, that could be no. I guess watching at the start differences. All I feel it could have been something to do with instructions. Well, hey, yeah, we're going on. Let me try to invite them in. Now that we have Rashford, now that we have Martial, Cavani, you think the instructions were to invite Arsenal in now and then try to beat them on the counter? But what went wrong with our game plan was the fact that every time we get back the ball, our passing decisions were off, and we were losing possession faster than we could make the pass to start a counter attack. What are thoughts about that?
Yeah, that had to be something like that, because that is the only excuse I could get for the slowness we start with. We was inviting them in and we was trying to counter, no? But we was either choosing the wrong pass or we was passing it straight back to Arsenal players. So, but eventually, when we got it up on their end, we got into the game. We started to press high up the field, and I don't know if Oli tell them to press higher. Forget the counter, just press higher.
No, but you see, what has happened, right? It has have different moments in the game, you know. So if you look at our game will go, you have a period in the game where one team go dominate and one team go sit back and absorb pressure, then they go change hands now. And I thought probably at that point, Arsenal would have said, hey, yeah, what's going on? Let me start adjust back, because what we have started doing is we would have started revert now and started trying to dominate possession a little more and move up the ball. And that's when Arsenal started to sit back. And they started to play counter-attacking football. Right? Nico, I don't know if you want to comment on that.
I thought it had a technical decision also from Arteta. I think we went out playing the same way, but I think Arsenal would have changed a bit of their system. And even in terms of bringing on Willian for Martinelli at the start of the second half. I think for some reason that's because United more or less were comfortable. And then with the change, with as much as effective as Martinelli was when he was on the field, right? It was much more easier for some reason. I think the movement between Martinelli and Willian, I think to me Martinelli was more static, waiting for the ball to fit and then working his magic. But with Willian, now you had a more off the ball type of runner, you know, and that's where you saw to struggle in the second half. So I think it was more technical than instruction from Oli to say, well, here what? Sit back, play on the counter. I think we went out with maybe the same instruction. Guys, we did well. We had an excellent first half. Let me keep it up. Let me maintain it in the second half, and the goal will come. But with the change that Arteta made, I think that is what changed the game. So to me to say, yes, we have Martial now on the field. Let me say we have our speedsters on the field more or less. We can now play on the counter, which has been fruitful to us. I honestly don't think that was the plan. But again, it could have been.
And then Willian and the right wing back started to double up on Rashford in closing him down. They started double up on him. So Rashford was struggling.
Yeah. Well, I guess earlier, when we consider how everything going right now, I think we mentioned it earlier. 1 point in 6. And I know Nico, in one of the reviews that we do before, you did say that we have a tough run. This set of games that we have coming up here, we have a real tough one. Because Tuesday we play in Southampton, and then I think West Ham in the FA Cup, and then Everton. Right? So right now I realize that the team going through a little bit of a dip, you know. I mean, I remember for long periods of the second half, and I'd mentioned it to you, Nico. I forgot Bruno was on the field, because I don't know where Bruno disappeared and went, you know. And when you want to dominate a game and make things happen, these are the guys that you're looking for. you know, and for large portions of the second half, these two guys couldn't be found. What do you think about Van de Beek in this regard, in situations like that? When we realize Bruno becoming so ineffective, right? Should Oli consider Van de Beek? Should he? And I mean, Nico, I know you say don't do that because Bruno could pull something out of a rabbit out of a hat in a second. But you saw where Van de Beek could have come in and make any kind of impact today?
Of course, you know, I was thinking about Van de Beek coming onto the field when McTominay went down. I was thinking that maybe he could have been the spark that we needed. You know, leave Pogba where Pogba was. You know, eventually Pogba would have come into his own in the position, and you play Van de Beek. Maybe it would have worked. Maybe it would not have worked. Or maybe pull Pogba even back and bring Van de Beek onto the field. I don't know if he and Pogba would have, Bruno would be fighting for the same position. You know, but I thought today with McTominay going down, the Martial decision was a good one. You know, I don't think that backfired in any way. But I was just, for some reason, I was thinking about Van de Beek to come in that situation.
Yeah, that is not bad shot at all. Go ahead, Avian.
Van de Beek, I find Van de Beek. Yeah, no fee. I
don't say that, man. He had time still. He had time. Don't write him off yet.
Half a season you get him, man.
Now you gotta get a whole season, boy. You have to get a whole season. Next season with pre-season, everything, if things change, you know, maybe the whole COVID pandemic and everything affecting him too, you know?
Just like you say, when McTominay went down, I was thinking, hey, Van de Beek is a good option because we already have Fred breaking up play. We have Pogba who could, you know, pivot, go forward and come back whenever, box to box. We could have Van de Beek keep in possession. That's what he good at, holding on to possession, playing the ball forward in tight spaces. That would be a good game for him. But Oli Clay don't fancy him, so.
Yeah. So, okay, I understand your point in terms of, that is it for Van de Beek in terms of Oli just don't fancy him.
Yep.
He has technical ability. Maybe I give like today he could have shown that, but Oli just don't fancy him.
Don't fancy him.
I don't know. I really, it's a kind of difficult situation to comment on because I guess Oli have his ideas in his head now and how he wants to fit in players and you know, probably he wanted Pogba in the midfield as opposed to what Van de Beek could offer. And that's as much as I could surmise, you know.
Yeah.
So I guess, guys, that brings us to the end of the review. Unless you have any other points that I want to bring up.
Not really.
Oh, Cavani, boy.
Right.
I was reading because Cavani get 2 good chances today, and I was reading somebody was saying that Cavani would give you work rate, he'll give you movement. But what people tend to forget is Cavani is not clinical. You know, Cavani usually takes 3 chances to score goals, and that's his record, you know, when he was at PSG or wherever he was at. So he's not the most clinical striker, but his movement and, you know, his industry is what, you know, would give him the edge now. So I don't know what the fellas thought about his performance today.
Other than, I think he was unlucky. Because I think was by inches. I think 2 of his chances were missed by inches. Another day he could have scored a brace. And I don't think it's much down to him. But I think the chances are around him. I don't think there's much chances being created. Because you saw him making a lot of runs. You saw him that time when Rashford maybe could have tried to play it in. Other players could have played it. The delay on the pass when he'd have been making good runs. And today for me, he was just unlucky not to score. You know, on another day, 2 inches left, 1 inch right, you know, and he could have scored a brace today. So and yes, I agree because I know the stats in terms of his conversion rate. But I think definitely he's he's our main threat. Honestly, in front of goal, I think he's our main threat at the moment. In, let me say, we know Bruno out of form now, but outside of that, I think he's our main threat in front of goal.
All right. Davian, the light behind you, it's queuing here. Yeah. All right. Nice. Much better. Yeah. Let me just get a comment here. Hey Peter, welcome man. He's saying I think we don't really know what is happening in the inside. Van Dijk probably going through a phase, or Oli just don't like him because that transfer really didn't look like it was entirely up to Oli. And I mentioned that so much time before, right? That looked like a deal that just came out, and the club decided to take it. And we knew last season that the squad needed depth, quality and depth. You know. He's also saying about today's game, we lacked intensity. Everyone in front wasn't ruthless. We need to stop our authority on matches. I love the passing, except for the back, from the back.
I find the passes from the back wasn't bad.
Jody's saying, plus it had many times Rashford was making the run behind and wasn't getting the ball.
But as you was talking about Cavani, I think the chance he got when Luke Shaw crossed the ball, I think that should have definitely been a goal. I think that chance was an easier chance than the Rashford chance. You know, I think that chance, yes, we knew it was a pass just wide, but to me that chance was an easier chance to score than the Rashford chance.
Yeah, and I shocked we got a corner for that.
Yeah,
I was shocked we got a corner for that. Yeah. You know, kind of trying to give you a penalty or something. You know, the Owi one.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, so I guess Nico and Davian, that brings us to the end of the review, right? Any closing thoughts, Nico?
I mean, say our next game is Tuesday. All right. Well, other than today's game, you know, like we said, we won the Sheffield game and draw today, and I said, well, all right, you know. But losing the Sheffield game and drawing today will definitely set us back, you know, a few points well. You know, there have been 5 points more or less set us back. City is definitely now in the driver's seat with 3 points ahead, with a game in hand. So definitely they are in the driver's seat. Definitely some results had to go our way for City to really, or for we to catch back to City now. Possibly could happen. Or maybe we was riding a wave then, and we haven't plateaued to, let me say, to see our truest potential, to see how best we can, to see the form that we really have. We're just riding a wave, and we're riding a wave for a while. As some of the viewers would have said, there's some ups and downs during the season. We just hope our down don't stay down for long, because how close that top 6 is, right? After the next 2 games, we could be somewhere down 5th or 6th if we don't really capitalize on some of the games coming up. You know, so I think it's just you know, I mean, take this game as, you know, the game done go on. You know what I mean? We are a point from it, but we are sort of focus on the other games coming up to at least keep the pressure on City. Let City feel the pressure, and hopefully we could do that and get back in let me say, tight up into the fight for the championship.
All the fellas concerned at all that probably we pick too early, or we pick already, or anything like that?
Possible. If it's so possible, but let me see. We gotta hope for the best.
I take it down to a bit of anxiousness that we know where we are. We know the position we're in. Although Oli will come out in the press and say, well, we're not focusing on that. Them players know the position then. Them players know they could be in the title contention. There's a bit of anxiousness. But then it's just the focus on the job at hand. Forget the title, forget the title race. Just focus on playing all the best game, and everything will fall into place. Getting the job done. There was getting the job done the whole time. It wasn't there are a few games we necessarily didn't play well, but we got the job done, and against Southampton are looking for that. Getting the job done at least a 2-0, give me a 2-0 self. I'll take that.
Yeah. Because 3 points in the bag.
Yeah.
3 points.
And you know, sometimes when you have these kind of runs, these kind of dry runs, now these little dips, it really need a little bit of luck, because if you watch it, it's fine margins, and that's something always say fine. Yeah, you know, that little nick that Cavani would need a little extra 3 inches to your right when I see the ball hit the net.
Yeah.
You know, so it's sometimes that little bit of luck you just need, sometimes just to take it through. Because I am telling you, sometimes what team need to boost them with a goal, you know, and you go sort of see players play with a little more, stress off the shoulder, they play with a little more confidence, with a little more, you know, and sometimes they just getting that first goal, where you know the nerves could settle a little bit, and then themselves go come into a nice little flow and sort of play some real decent football. And I think once we can start to get that early goal, we can start to see the best of some players when the nerves settle now. You know? Jody's saying, yeah, boy, Bruno and Rashford killing my FPL team. I was in top 400,000, I sure dropped down. Or that's in the International League.
Nah, right now it's pressure, boy. Right now, fantasy. Oh, pressure.
I need one hear about fantasy right now.
Peter saying we need to capitalize on bottom place teams, upsetting top teams, and get some results. Now it's going to be harder. Plenty games, so little rest time. Only a strong team with a good bench could get through this phase of the season. We need the final push now. Yeah.
The watching
final push early, boy. Yeah. Final push early, boy.
No, but we need a bit of luck. I feel that bit of luck we need, boy.
Yeah.
The same thing getting the results against the big teams. The watching me. They always have something to say.
Always pressuring us, though.
But I think the point you're making on Davian, because last season we beat apart from
all the big teams.
We beat all the big teams. Yeah. This season now, we're not getting the results against the big teams, but we're beating up the smaller teams.
Right. Yeah. So that's our problem with us not beating the big teams now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you're already top now. You already cannot beat big teams. You know, cannot beat teams in the top 6.
Last year was called me Robin Hood. So we've taken from the rich and given to the poor.
Yeah. But if you really check it, it's a more bottom teams than big teams. So if you beat out all the bottom teams, you have a better chance of winning the league, you know.
You have characters.
I don't care how you say.
And not lose to the big teams.
Not lose.
You know, even not lose. And beat the small teams,
Yeah. Jody said we will bounce back, man. I have faith in the team this year. Yeah, true.
Nice.
True.
I'm hoping we ain't beat Liverpool and feeling we reaching now. We ain't reach.
Davian, I was telling you, and you saw signs of that when we beat PSG. Because when we beat PSG in the Champions League and we went on to the quarterfinal round, right? We thought we reached. And after that, it past 3 games in the league, we struggled. Right? So you're seen as a recurring team with this team in terms of after you win a big game, and if you win a big game, you have a dip immediately after. And you saw that again after that Liverpool victory.
Yeah. Well, let me hope that them fellas and them, you know, in training and whatever psychology training again, you know, keep their head and keep focused on what's before them, you know. Davian, any closing thoughts?
Well, let me go again.
Yeah.
3 points. 3 points.
Okay.
That's all I want. I don't care how we play. 3 points.
Yeah.
I don't care if we send Martial out to sell nuts. 3 points.
Jody said Davian, you're right, but the pundit said it. After that Liverpool win, they were too excited.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's hope the loss against Sheffield and the draw today bring them back to reality. You understand? Because 3 points, if we could win our game now, that'll go a long way to kind of building back the confidence in the players now.
Yeah, definitely.
So if the head dropping a little bit,
Rashford head dropping, real bad.
Bruno had to get back that spark.
Yeah.
Nah, Bruno customer like usual.
Peter said, when is the watch along? I think we promised the watch along for a cup final.
Yeah, we're doing good in the FA Cup. We're doing real good in the FA Cup, Peter. You know, like keep our eyes peeled on that. We had the Europa League. We keep our eyes peeled on that. We definitely have a watch along as long as we, let me say, at least semi-final round. Definitely have a watch along.
Yeah, nice. So guys, thanks again for joining us.
Once down the Caribbean, I watch along, eh?
Yeah, so thanks again for joining, fellas. Not the result we wanted, right? But a point nonetheless. We moving again. Who we playing? Who we playing Tuesday? Southampton. And I think they dropped points today, right? They lost. So it could have two different kind of Southamptons could come at us. A wounded animal, which is a very dangerous one. You understand? Or a wounded animal that's ready for more licks, right? So let me hope that is the latter, right? So that we could go and get some points from this team, right? So guys, thanks again. Don't forget to check us on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, drop a comment, like the video, and let's get it.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much for having me again. Well, for the first time, sorry.
Yeah, man, no problem. It's about to come. Don't worry yourself.
You are the one.
I hope next time I come here, we win.
Yeah, man, for sure. All right. Jody saying I still not taking Bruno Rashford or Harry out in the field team. Yeah, them fellas could show up. Yeah, man, have a blessed night. So thanks for joining, guys.
Thanks, Jody, for tuning in.
Blessed night.
So we'll see you all on Tuesday. Have a good one.
I do. Love you.